Hi, and welcome to the Power of Relaxation Using Hypnosis. I'm Karen Bartle, and I'll be walking you through the process of why we need relaxation for health and well-being and to mitigate the effects of stress. How relaxation keeps us healthy, what happens when we're stressed, and why hypnosis is such a beautiful, useful, and valuable tool to use to relax, and how you can learn more from people who have used it, who have experienced the power of relaxation using hypnosis for themselves. So, just a little about me. So, my name is Karen Bartle, and why am I in a great position to be helping you discover the power of relaxation using hypnosis for yourself? Well, I've got a couple of degrees in psychology. I've got a BSc with honours, and I've got an MSc in health psychology. So I know a lot about the mind. I know a lot about health psychology now. We can improve our health and improve our mind. I've been a hypnotherapist and a coach since 2006, and a hypnotherapy trainer since 2008. I work as a resilience coach and host the Resilience Reef podcast for managing chronic health conditions. I have my own chronic health conditions that I'm dealing with, a very rare, chronic, and incurable ones. So it needs management, self-management. So I use hypnotherapy every day to manage the symptoms of my condition. During my own practice and myself, my therapy practice, coaching practice, and training students, I've induced relaxation literally thousands of times over the years. And I've seen the benefit that people, myself, have achieved from it firsthand. So, why do we need to relax? Well, there are many reasons and benefits of learning the power of relaxation for all areas of our lives. Once we learn it for one thing, it generalizes out, and we learn to love the idea that we can relax, and it's quite easy to relax. There's lots of benefits of relaxation. It improves our general productivity and performance, but also in specific areas if that's what we're looking to do. It improves our energy and alertness, so we find ourselves being able to sleep better. Great if you're an insomniac, for example. Less tension in our bodies, and it mitigates the effect of stress, because when we're stressed, we use a lot of energy reserves that we really shouldn't be using on. We want to reserve those energy reserves for something that we want to do that pleases us rather than stresses us. We have more positive thoughts and behaviours. When we're relaxed, it clears our mind, and it makes space for healthier, more positive thoughts and behaviours to come to fruition. It allows us to put things in perspective, and not blow things out of proportion. It helps with our relations. It improves our relations with others, because when we slow things down, we take our time, we feel we have time for this. So we have time for others. We can engage in conversations without feeling rushed or feeling like we should be somewhere else. We become less reactive, less defensive and hostile towards others. And this reduces the friction and the conflict and the arguments that we have with people. It improves our emotional regulation and stability. So being relaxed means we can be more aware of how we're feeling, how others are feeling, and also how we're being affected, which helps us to respond better, more calmer, more considered, more mindful, and reduces the need to be angry or frustrated with ourselves or others. It also eliminates mood swings. So when we're stressed, and it can commonly make us feel more unpredictable and be more unpredictable in situations. And by relaxing, it gives us that sense of more control over ourselves and our behaviours. It improves our decision-making skills. So it gives us a space to think through things calmly and patiently, and without feeling rushed, without making the wrong or rash decisions. It just helps us make better, healthier life decisions, life choices. Memory retention and recall becomes improved when we relax because it slows things down as we're processing information, which we do millions of times a day. Um, we can be more mindful of the information that we're processing so it gets fully absorbed. Then it gets assimilated, and we can then accurately recall that information later. Especially great if you're studying or learning new skills like a language or something like that. It improves our ability to be patient and tolerant. So our thresholds are so much higher for things that we wouldn't ordinarily tolerate when we're stressed. So we can persist and be more willing to feel we have time for things and take time out to do things. When we're relaxed, we can stop off to smell the roses, so to speak. Be kinder to ourselves, more mindful of what we're doing, thinking, and feeling at any given time. Our ability to be resilient is improved when we're relaxed. In fact, relaxation is one of the skills of resilience. So we can be more aware and optimistic, more accepting, more forgiving, and basically better resourced to manage challenges like stress, fear, anxiety, adversity, trauma, etc. So you're thinking, how the heck does it do all that? Well, it is a complicated process, and I won't go into the details too much here. I'll just give you a nutshell approach here. But basically, our nervous system, our autonomic nervous system, has two branches. So when we're not relaxed, i.e., when we're stressed or we're tense, anxious, or fearful, our sympathetic branch, or our autonomic nervous system, is activated. It triggers changes in our bodies in hormone levels to increase basically the energy reserves to deal with the stressor. When the stresses that we're experiencing persist over time, our nervous, hormone, and immune systems are all elevated. And our body has to learn to adapt to deal with that stressor. So although there might be very few outward signs that we're, trying too hard to manage the stress that we're experiencing, internally, our body is working incredibly hard to deal with the effects of it. So, for example, our organs, our adrenal glands, kidneys, the liver, these are all releasing substances that increase, for example, our blood pressure, help us to fight inflammation, and enhances muscle tension, and increases blood sugar levels. These substances, which are things like adrenaline and cortisol, are being produced at a very costly rate to the body, gradually basically using up all our energy reserves. So our capacity to resist infections, diseases, injuries, ailments, it becomes depleted. So this is where we start to notice outwardly that we're experiencing more and more coughs and colds and infections. And this is why we, compared to someone else, are less able to deal with the common ailments and infections. And they're very difficult to clear and heal when our body has depleted those energy reserves. But you can also experience something very severe, very sinister, very chronic when you are under a lot of stress or continuous stress, where you've experienced a lot of wear and tear on your body over the time. And that can lead to very prolonged or serious need for surgery or medication or cures for things. So on the plus side, we have another branch which mitigates the effect of all those things. And what it means is that the other branch is the parasympathetic nervous system. And what that does is it regulates our organs and our gland function, and it basically calms all that nonsense down and prevents and stops that chain reaction from occurring. So it helps our heart rate to slow down, it relaxes our muscles so we don't have as much tension, for example, and it reduces a lot of harm to the body. So if you're feeling stressed, you may look like one of these people. You may be doing many things at once, multitasking by getting on the treadmill in your work suit. I hope not, but you may be. The idea is, though, that if you're doing that if you're stressed, you're probably doing patterns of similar things of multitasking in other areas of your life. So it's worth taking a little check on that. Because the problem is, if you're doing that too often, you may find yourself that you will burn out, because it can only last for so long in using those energy reserves. So just check in with yourself and make sure, what are you doing right now? Are you doing 2 things at once, 3 things, 4 things? Because what we tend to do is we don't do them very well. The research suggests multitasking is not an efficient tool to use when you're trying to be productive. On the other side, we tend to form not very healthy or good habits when we're stressed. So we either place things on ourselves, demands on ourselves, or we have high expectations of ourselves, or other people demand of us more than we can give. And so something has to give. So we might turn to drinking, smoking, overeating, using drugs, etc. Various vices to help ourselves emotionally cope with the difficult things that we're dealing with. So the idea is that is a lot easier than dealing with that. It's more efficient on your body and your mind, and it's less wear and tear in all those places. So basically, if you can start to relax, and it may seem very counterproductive, if you're somebody who is on high alert, highly aroused, dealing with lots of things, over time, it might seem counterproductive to take time out to relax. However, continuing on as you are doing is not a good idea. It leads to all sorts of illness, injury, disease that you may find it very difficult to deal with later. So there are many ways to relax. I'm sure you do things already that help you relax. For example, if you're a sun lover and you live near the beach, or you've got a good backyard or a veranda where you can go and sunbathe, maybe you do that for a week, or once a week or something like that, an hour a week, to help yourself to enjoy the, revitalize and re-energize for the following week. However, it's not a very practical thing to do if you're stressed every day, to take time out to be able to go and spend an hour on the beach, for example. Life's triggers of stress happen every day. If you're stressed, you're stressed, and so it's just not practical. The same if you're dealing with a specific fear or a phobia. So, you can't take a pill every day just in case you should come across something like a frog or a spider. It's just not practical to do that, and it's certainly not healthy to do that either, to be relying on medication for that reason. So what we should think about, and I'm going to encourage you to think about strongly, because this is something I do every day, I've helped thousands of others to do every day. I'm going to recommend that you look into how you can learn some very basic skills of hypnosis to relax. I'm in a great position because I help people do this all the time. I'm a trainer of hypnotherapy, so I help people to understand and to learn, as well as clients, because I'm a big advocate of giving my clients, my coaches, the tools of the trade to absolutely do them themselves, to not rely on me to give them to them. So there are some very good reasons why I believe you should definitely have hypnosis in your toolkit. For one, it is incredibly quick to learn. There are some special skills, and I will help you to learn those. But the thing is, it is not rocket science. It's very easy to use. It takes very little processing, very little. Once you know how, it is very easy to use. Incredibly versatile. There are probably hundreds of, if not thousands of ways to use hypnosis to help yourself relax. You can individually tailor it to your needs, because I'll be helping you to understand how to create suggestions for yourself. Suggestions are the lifeblood of what hypnosis is about. So once you learn to individually tailor the tools of hypnosis to yourself, it becomes a lot more effective. You're able to create light or deep trance states. They're on a spectrum, so it's not technically light or deep. It's a spectrum of depth and experiences. But let's say you're having a bit of problem with your breathing, or you're having a bit of an anxiety moment. Um, facing a fear of some kind, maybe doing a presentation, and you don't feel you're great at public speaking. You may have a moment of panic, and it's great in those moments to just do a little 3 to 5 minute exercise to help you to relax, and it really is a useful tool for that. If you have got other things like chronic illnesses, especially chronic pain, insomnia, stress, trauma, you can use hypnosis to relax at the times when you're feeling it the most, or you're experiencing something coming on. Like if you've got migraines, and your migraines can last for days if you don't get on top of them, you can do something preventatively or at the earliest signs, but you can spend a lot more time with it. And there is a very incredibly good evidence base for hypnotherapy with the likes of pain, stress, and migraines, cancer pains, all kinds of pains. So it is very effective for helping you to manage things at a much deeper level too. It's incredibly natural and healthy. There are very, 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 very few side effects. All you need to remember is that if you have low blood pressure, for example, that you sit down to do this, because it will. The great thing about hypnosis is it has the ability to manage hypertension, high blood pressure. So that means it brings your blood pressure down. But the downside is if you already have low blood pressure, it may just reduce it slightly. So you may feel a little bit lightheaded. So ideally, you want to be sat down while you're doing this. If you do it for so long, if you go into one of those deep trance states and you do it for a long time, there is a little bit of a risk of you developing a bit of a what's called a hypnotic headache. It's a very mild headache, but it does disappear in a few minutes. So you just have to sit with it until it disappears. But other than that, it's very natural. It's very healthy. All you need is your voice and your imagination. That is all you need to use hypnosis. It can be used anytime, anywhere, so long as you're not driving. So if you're operating machinery or anything like that, you don't want to be using hypnosis, but you can just pull over if you're in the car. If you're feeling a little bit, if you're in an unfamiliar place, or you're in very busy traffic and it's worrying you a little bit, you can simply pull over, do a little bit of hypnosis, literally 3 to 5 minutes, a little exercise with yourself, and you can just calm everything down and you'll be on your way. It is absolutely beautiful for those kinds of things. It's available to anyone who wishes to use it and wants to learn it. Obviously, you have to be able to speak. You have to be able to understand the information and absorb it. But it is not a rocket science. Like I say, it's a very easy, creative, and very beautiful, actually, way to help you to relax. You don't even have to close your eyes. You can just keep them open, stare at something if you wish. You really don't need any special tools other than your voice and some language patterns to help you to use hypnosis. So, have I convinced you already or not? Let's see. Are you ready to learn how you can relax using hypnosis? Like I say, anyone can learn it. There is no reason, why everyone couldn't use hypnosis. It just needs to be adapted to the individual needs who want to use it. And that is very simple to do. It can be used on babies, animals, just by the tone of your voice or the way that you use your language patterns. They don't have to understand what they're listening to. If you want to induce a baby or an animal into a trance, it is very simple just by the way you use your voice. But you do have to have a voice to use it, of course. And there is no reason why anyone and everyone cannot benefit from using hypnosis. It's such a versatile and adaptable tool to use. So if you want to learn how to experience the power of relaxation using hypnosis, I can definitely, and I promise you, I can show you how. I've showed hundreds of students how, hundreds of sessions, thousands of sessions with clients how. I definitely have every confidence that you will experience hypnosis and be able to use it on yourself or others if you're able to do that. But there is more to learn. Obviously, you need to be able to learn the tools of the trade, and there is a little bit of studying to do. But I'm going to encourage you. I'm going to put a link in the notes, and I'm going to encourage you in the comments. I'm going to encourage you to go and have a look at my website, the webpage, which will give you, just kind of a summary of what we've just talked about in this video. You can watch this video again to learn more. But on the page, it will also give you case studies of real people who have worked with me. And I've worked with a lot, hundreds of clients. So what I would like you to do is to go to that page and have a look at Jeff specifically, because Jeff still has chronic asthma. It was incredibly well managed. He's had it for decades. He's in his senior years, but for some reason, something happened and he just started having anxiety attacks because he didn't feel he could manage it well. So he was having all sorts of negative thoughts, catastrophizing. He was going to die. He was having all sorts of negative things going on, which was contributing to his condition getting worse. So he wasn't helping his condition, his cause well. But he couldn't control it. He didn't have any other way of managing his anxiety problem. So his anxiety got worse. As his anxiety got worse, he was unable to manage his chronic asthma as well. So they give you, on that page that I'm going to refer you to, it will give you another video to watch. And more information about what we do when we're using hypnosis and how easy and quick and efficient it is to enable people to manage their own situations, self-efficacy, helping them to manage their own issues in their own way, individually tailored, to give them a sense of how they can manage their own condition well. Take control of it without having to go and pop a pill or see a practitioner. It's very easy to do. So what I'll also do in the notes, I will put a link to where you can call me for a free, no obligation call. And we can have a conversation of what's going on with you and how I think is the most efficient way for you to be using hypnosis to help you relax. So I'll put that in the notes as well. And there's also links to other things on that page that you might want to do more learning, more studying, an ability to help yourself, but also an ability to not only help yourself, but if you want to become a practitioner in helping others, there's also a link to a little 2-day course that we do on there as well, where you can learn to actually induce hypnosis with other people, family, friends, colleagues, your dogs and babies if you wish, and you can learn how to help others to experience that for themselves too. So that's a 2-day course that's on there too if you wish to take it further. But for now, I would just say go over to the page, learn more about what we've talked about today, learn about Jeff's experience, and I'll also be sharing more case studies from people that I've worked with that have experienced real life positive experiences from simply relaxing, nothing more, nothing special, just simply relaxing has done the job for them. So that's me for now. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to ask you to just go over to that page now with the link. Take your time with it. Give me a call if you wish, and hopefully I'll speak to some of you again soon. Okay, bye for now. Take care.